Hi, kids. I wanted to come online and go over the science sheets that came home in your packet. This was one of the assignments that you had for science today to work on. Um, the first page, I think, was pretty much, should be pretty easy. This was the stuff that we had done in class before we got out of school. These are just the single cross Punnett squares. But the second page, I believe, may have been quite challenging. I wanted you to try to work on it by yourself just to see how it went. But if you had a particularly hard time with it, then hopefully this video will help. Before you got started, there was some important vocabulary you kind of needed to maybe go and review. You could have found most of it on Quizlet. So if you looked at your vocabulary, and you probably found the word recessive. That was one of your vocabulary words. You probably did not find the whole word for codominant. You probably found dominant trait. Let's try to get rid of that. But in this case, co means together, and it means that the gene for type A and for the type B blood are codominant. That means you're going to have two capital letters. That's not terribly important right now, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But some other words you're going to need to know was homozygous and then heterozygous. To go back and just review some of those terms, and we had talked about those and put those on the board, and those may have been in your notes, probably in your field manual, but you can find those on Quizlet if you want to go back and just review what those terms mean. Okay. For this worksheet, it says in blood typing, the gene for blood type A and the gene for blood type B are codominant. The gene for type O is recessive. Okay, so if we were talking about some of the traits that we had done before, remember some of them, they looked like this. And the capital letter, whoops, not a D. The capital letter is represents the dominant trait, and the lowercase letter represents the recessive trait. For blood type, they're always going to be written with capital letters, so that's why they need to tell you that O is recessive and then A and B are codominant. That means they'll always be written with capital letters. Okay? So the first scenario says that the father is type O and the mother is type O. Well, if you'll remember, in order for the recessive trait to show up, both parents have got to have the trait for that particular gene, or in this case, the blood type. So when you do your crosses, it's going to look just like this, because there's no other types that could possibly show up if both the mother and the father are type O blood. So in this scenario, there is a 100% chance that the offspring is going to be type O blood. And that means there's 0% chance for A blood, 0 for B, and 0 for type AB blood. Okay? The next one says the father is type A, which is homozygous, and the mother is type B, homozygous. So since it's codominant, you're always going to write two letters, two capital letters, and it's going to look like that. So when you do these crosses, just using alphabetical order, go through and write it out just like this. And we'll find that the offspring has a 100% chance of being type AB blood. And then we have 0% chance for all other blood types. Okay. Next, it says that the father is type A, heterozygous, and the mother is type B, heterozygous. Well, if you'll remember, in the instructions, it tells you that the O is the recessive gene. So since the father is type A, heterozygous, that means that his genes or his blood type is going to look like this. It's going to be a big A, and an O. So then we'll do the cross just like this. So we'll do AB, and then it'll look like this. O and O. Well, if you'll notice over here on the side, there's not a BO blood type or an AO blood type. So it's only going to be for type A or B. So it always, the dominant trait will win out. So for this part, for this top one, for type O, there is a 25% chance that the offspring will be type O. Remember, both of them have to show up in order for it to be O blood type. Okay. And type AB, there's also 25% chance. And then these two, the AO and the BO, that will be represented. That will just end up being type A blood and then type B blood. For this particular cross, there's a 25% chance. There's equal chance for each one of those blood types. So the offspring could really have any blood types that we have listed. It's equally likely as for all of them. The next one says father is O blood type, so that's represented by two O's, and the mother is type AB. So it would be written just like this. So when you do your crosses, you'll have the AO again, and the BO and BO. Now, since there aren't any AO or BO blood types, it's just a 50-50 for type A and type B, and 0% chance for O blood type and AB blood type. And then the very last one, it says the mother and father are both type AB. So it would be written just like this, AB, AB. And when you do the crosses, you'll have AA, AB, AB, and BB. Okay. So when we calculate the probability, there's a 0% chance that the offspring will have O blood type. There is 25% chance of type A, 25% chance for B, and a 50% chance. See, both of these are AB, so it's going to be 50% chance for AB. And that's how you do blood typing. So that one was a little bit different because sometimes it may be a little confusing about the codominance because you have two capital letters. But that's how you do blood typing. And I hope this helps. And if you have any questions after going over this worksheet, please feel free to email me or join me tomorrow morning on Zoom about 9 o'clock. Have a good evening.